Welcome to Not From Here, a podcast dedicated to past versions of ourselves
and the current versions of all of you. We are your co-hosts. I'm Riley Klauza.
And I am Isa Rodriguez, and we are just a couple of Michiganders turned New Yorkers trying to get a grip.
Have you ever been made fun of for the way you say things or thought, damn, I never even realized I had an accent?
Well, we have too, because we're definitely not from here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey! Who are we joined by?
Hi. I'm Ethan Carlson.
Hey, Ethan Carlson!
Hi.
Hey!
Oh my God.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Oh my God, it's Monday. I thought it was Friday.
I also thought that's what I was just
now.
about to say. Yes. And at work today, like I was up at Starbucks, I was handing off drinks and I was fully like, good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Happy Monday.
Wait, why did we feel like it was Friday? Is it just like
you have a
something
reason
in the air?
Like you just got back from a trip.
Yes, from like so many time zones, but I guess that doesn't really affect days of the week. More just the times of the week. But here we are.
You're like,
It's
yeah,
Monday.
but it's same.
It is Monday. Thank you, Isa. Happy Monday to you as well.
Thank you. Happy Monday, Isa. And Riley.
Thanks.
Great start.
Yay.
So, Ethan, who the heck are you? I know that is such a broad question, but
Oh, wow.
give us things like where are you originally from? Yeah, let's just start there.
Let's start there.
Okay. My name is Ethan, as you know now.
Hi, Ethan.
Both of you know that. I am originally from Topeka, Kansas.
Oh.
Definitely not from here.
Okay, Kansas.
Yeah, born and raised there. Lived there for 16 years of my life.
Wow. You're a first, what are you guys called? Kansian?
Kansas.
I just say Topekan.
Topekan. Okay, that makes
But
sense.
there's definitely a word for being
Yeah,
from
like
Kansas. Probably a
Michigander.
Kansan.
Kansan? That would make sense.
Kansan.
Yeah,
Kansan,
you're
yeah.
a first. So
You are.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
so honored to be from Kansas.
thank God.
Yes.
Tell us about home.
Well, my family doesn't live there now.
Okay.
They moved to Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
But I grew up like outside of city limits in Topeka, Kansas, about 10 minutes outside of the city. Topeka is a very interesting place. There are a lot of great people. But yeah, it was a very interesting upbringing. Lots of grass.
We love
Lots of
grass.
grass. There's actually great theater in Topeka, though.
Really? I feel like
Yes.
I've heard of Topeka. I don't know if it's
Sherry
from
Renee
you.
Scott.
Maybe that's why, because I've definitely heard of it before. and
The
it's
one
not
and
Mhm.
only.
Yeah,
the one.
the only. She did a lot of shows at Topeka Civic Theater. Is a big like community theater there,
Okay.
and they have like Helen Hawker Theater, a couple touring places, and like Kansas City has so much theater in Wichita and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
a great actually like place to grow up with doing theater, which you wouldn't really think when you hear of Topeka, Kansas. But I met some incredible people who taught me everything I know. Well, that's
Ah.
not true, but a lot of what I know.
Do you feel like your love for theater was sparked from where you grew up, or was it more of like an internal,
Ooh.
like?
That was she's going off script.
That-
I
that-
did. I
that was a
told
great
you.
question.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not
Let's
mad.
add that to the script.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. I think, honestly, I do think it was internal, but I'm not sure it would have been like to the degree that it is now if it weren't for the people around me who like helped
Yeah.
me learn that that's what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Becky Green was my music teacher, and I just love her so much. And I owe a lot of why I want to do this to her. But I always wanted to do it. And my first show was Charlie Brown Christmas.
Stop.
And I was Linus. There's drama there, but we can get there.
I can't wait to
Please.
unpack.
You said the word drama. We both. Tell
No,
us.
there's not drama. It was like third or fourth grade. It was double cast.
Oh.
Stop doing that, guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, why
Can we
in
just
middle
stop?
school?
No.
No, that's not even middle. No, that is middle school. That is middle school because in high school is 8th grade, right?
What?
Right.
Whoa.
Whoa. We went
So-
to high school for me,
Nine?
at least, with 9th through 12th. But I feel like I've
Was
heard
it
of different
eighth?
places doing it.
You're like, now I don't even remember.
I truly don't even remember. Maybe
Was
it
middle
is
school for
8th?
you like 5th through 7th?
That sounds accurate.
Because I've heard of that before.
Okay, I've also
And then high school is 8th
is
through 12th.
8 through 12.
Which would make sense.
I think that's right. I left
Okay.
junior year. I think that's why also 8th grade felt like high school, I guess. but it was in the same building.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, from kindergarten through 12th grade was in the same building in my school in Topeka, Kansas. Yeah.
Wow.
Same 18 people
Yay.
in the class.
You're like,
Wild.
Besties.
Yeah. Wait, okay, so it was double cast. A
Okay.
Charlie
Oh, yeah,
Brown
yeah, yes.
Christmas. I played Linus. But the drama was, and I should not have done this. I'm like, what goes on? Connor Williams was in the other cast
Okay.
playing Linus. And so he couldn't remember the monologue, dragging him for a second. So they printed it and they taped it on the stage for during the
Stop.
monologue that Linus had to give. So they did their performance first and he like looked down and read it. And when I did the performance, I came on and before the monologue, ripped the piece of paper off and threw it into the audience and did the monologue off book. But I'm like, why did I do that? I'm like,
That
it's
is-
so dramatic for literally no
You're like,
reason.
I don't need this.
That's stark quality.
no, that's.
You were like, you think anybody can do this? Well, I'm going to show you how it's really done.
I'm going to show you how a professional does it.
And it's the line is like probably this big. It's like a sentence. Like it's nothing dramatic. I think it's like, "Where's my blanket? Merry Christmas." Like,
You're like-
literally nothing. But I gave it like it was a full monologue, Tony Award-winning speech, and I've had nightmares about it to this day. So I'm sorry, Connor Williams. I think he's fine though.
Yeah.
No, he's traumatized.
I'm not okay, but I think. You think he's traumatized? No.
No, just from watching. He's like, fuck, I could never do
Yeah.
that.
It's sad.
You know, again, star quality. We can't all be Rachel Berry. You know? There's one.
there is one. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's an iconic story, truly.
So, where did you go to college?
I went to Pace University in New York
Ooh.
City.
Come on.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you said, so you were in Kansas and then you
Yes.
went to, so did you also move to Richmond, Virginia? Or is that kind of when you launched into New York City?
So I went to Care Paravel Latin School in Topeka, Kansas with the same 18 people till junior year.
Okay.
And then halfway through junior year, I was like, can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So then I went to boarding school, Interlochen in Michigan.
Oh, come on.
Uh-huh.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Wow, that one
course.
like really, I didn't know
But
that.
I went for school, not for camp. Like I went to
No,
like
you
the
went
boarding
for
school.
school.
You were just like, oh my God. Did you do theater and stuff there still?
Mhm. It was like the best year and a half of my life. I went halfway through junior year and then went back for senior year for the whole year. And it was just unbelievable. And I love Michigan.
Yeah.
And I think it's here, right?
Yes.
On the hand, on the mitten
yeah.
thing.
On the mitten thing.
He did the hand.
He knows. He knows.
Gets it.
But so I went there for a year and a half. And then that's how I had like no idea about colleges. I don't know
Mhm.
about y'all's
Oh,
college.
let's talk.
Yeah, let's
Let's talk
talk
It's
about
literally like you know what the script says because you keep bringing like you're segueing yourself into
Oh.
everything. The next question was, tell us about your college audition process.
Oh my God.
He's a writer.
I know. He knows.
I glanced at the script. No.
Photographic memory.
Wait, it was wild because we did Unified. Did you guys do Unified?
Yes.
I didn't, but I knew.
Which
of it.
unifieds did you go to? Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
We took a bus with all of the musical theater majors at Interlochen to Chicago.
Oh,
Stayed at that hotel.
Oh,
I mean, you have
the
to.
Palmer House.
The Palmer
Yes.
House. Oh my God.
Duh.
Oh my
Duh.
God. I just chills up and down my body. That was the craziest experience of my entire
I'm-
life.
like that was a fever dream.
I like
That's
couldn't
cruel
believe
and
it was
wrong.
happening. Yeah. I remember because you would just get off of the elevator and just immediate like was like
Anxiety.
immediate anxiety. You could you could literally walk through it. Like you could feel the
Oh, yeah.
anxiety. But then
And
you're
it's
like
theater kids everywhere at their worst because they're
Yes.
you were all my competition.
you're all singing Suddenly Somewhere.
Yeah.
No. Yes, that's that the song I meant? Or
What?
I mean Suddenly,
Suddenly
Seymour. What's the other song that's with I'm thinking of Somebody Somewhere. That's what
Somebody
Oh.
somewhere.
Suddenly Somewhere. That's probably what people were singing, a mashup. But no, it was wild because then you could just audition for any college that you wanted to, like if you could,
If
like if there was like no line. So I think I auditioned for honestly like 20 colleges when I was
No,
there
yeah.
just for no reason.
That was like the fun of it, like walking around being like, oh, you got room? Like, okay,
Yes.
fine, I'll audition for you.
I want to go there now. But wow, it was an experience. Yeah, I sang I'm Alive from Next to Normal, which nobody else sang that year.
Yeah.
Every single person sang
Of
it.
course. I was
Every
like,
single
oh.
person sang it.
Mm.
On our first day at Pace, somebody said, I forget who said it, they were literally like, raise your hand if you sang I'm Alive for your college audition. And we literally all raised our hands. Like every single person sang I'm Alive. And they said, everyone take it out of your book immediately.
They were like, you're done.
And I said, it's already out. Given
Really?
how the Palmer House went, that song's already out of there. I can't believe you were there.
I know.
What year?
I was there in 2017.
Wow. I was there in 2012.
Wow.
Wow. So it's still kicking it, huh?
It's still kicking.
It's still no, it
Wow.
literally is. Were you part of like the Facebook groups?
God, no.
Oh my God. So my year, there was like, it was called like The Company. And it was like a Facebook group for all like class of 2017 people auditioning.
Nope.
No, it was literally the worst thing I've ever.
That's really too much.
Traumatized.
I'm like, someone needs to like listen to this and then tell me if that still exists, because they would change the name every year. So it's like something different every year. But my year, it was like The Company. And it was just people like, hey, like I want to sing this in my audition, but like, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Like, let me know. Like, but also it was just like, I heard from this school. Like, if you haven't heard, you didn't get in. And it's like, it was literally just so.
Well,
anyway,
that was the hard thing, because at boarding school, we like knew when mail was coming. So every day we would all be like waiting for the letter. And so 5 people would get an acceptance letter. And then we would all be like, I guess we're going to get our non-acceptance letters next week.
that is heartbreaking.
Oh, it was rough. And also you want to celebrate people for getting into their dream colleges, of course. And so but then you're dealing with it like in the morning with the mail in front of them. And you're like, congratulations.
You're like, I wanted to go there too.
But it was wild. I was so lucky I got into Pace. That was my top school. And I was like thrilled because I just wanted to be in New York. I was like, just get me to New York. So I was thrilled when I got that. But I heard about Pace very late. It was like one of the last colleges to come. And I was just like, please, please, please.
Oh my God. That's incredible. And so did you have an amazing time in college? Do we hate college? What do we think?
It's a mixed bag of experiences.
Okay, yeah.
But I met some incredible people, had some amazing training, and I feel grateful for the experiences and how they shaped me today. But I've met like some of my lifelong friends there. Kirsten Anderson is my bestie for life. She, of course, left early to do Sound of Music. But and I met Ryan there, Scott Oliver, of course, who we all love, and met a lot of incredible people in my class and some faculty. And overall, I'm like, I've learned a lot from there, and I think I'm still learning a lot from there. And I'm also, for me with colleges, I don't know how y'all feel.
Let's hear it.
It really just like, I don't think there is advantages to going. There's advantages to not going. And I think you just have to make your own path. If you feel like you want to go, you should go. If you feel like you don't want to go, you shouldn't go. And you can kind of choose how much you want to learn. Like, I think it's on you to kind of not make your own education, but like how much your work you're going to do is going to also factor into how your college experience was.
Totally.
You know?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's about being resourceful, right?
Yeah.
Got to make the best of it.
And I don't think it really like the whole like got to go to this school, got to go to this school. It just doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
And it puts so much pressure on us. Even like, how old were we when we were doing college auditions? Like
17,
Yeah,
turning
17.
18.
and like if you're like, if I don't get into this school, my career's over. And it's like, well, you're going to school to learn how to have one. Like, you shouldn't be already thinking that. Like, it's so much.
It is. And that's something I feel like that topic comes up with almost every actor that we get on this podcast, because we do ask about college kind of a lot, because I feel like it's kind of one of those things, right? Like, especially in our career, like from day one, there's so much pressure around it. And then everybody says the same thing. It's like, it's your own path. Like, it does not determine your success or your career or how good you are. Or like, there's just so many factors.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, it literally does not matter. It does not matter at all.
Like,
at the end of the day, like, you don't have to go. You can go. You can go to the best school in the nation. You can go to the worst. Like, literally, it all depends on like
you
yourself.
could go nowhere,
and your own path, like what you're gonna do.
Yeah. It's also with like the casting process of it all. I'm like, they're just looking for the exact person they want to play that role. If you went to that school and you're not that person, you won't book it. If you didn't go to school and you're that person, you're going to book it. You know what I mean? I just like, I can't with all that. Those colleges are amazing, but I don't think it really matters.
No, at the end of the day.
How would you say the transition was coming from high school to then boarding school to then jumping into New York City?
it was a transition for sure. It was fascinating. I'm like so grateful I had the experience at Interlochen because I think I learned a lot of stuff that would have been like very hard to learn here alongside being in New York and like at college with that many people.
Yeah.
Especially just like about my sexuality, like coming from Topeka, Kansas, like I had a glimmer into like what life could be being around so many artists at Interlochen. So then I think coming to New York, I felt a little bit more free to be who I was going into college, which I think had I not gone to Interlochen, I would not have felt that way. So I'm really grateful for that. But the transition was hard because New York is hard, of course. But you know, when you get somewhere and you're like, this is where I'm meant to be. I still feel that now. Don't you both?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think I got off the plane to like go to college and I was like, I'm supposed to be here. And so the transition was hard in terms of just like learning this place is expensive. I have no money. What am I going to do? But it was easier than I thought it would be because of how magical the city is.
Yeah.
Totally. Do you have any like fun New York horror stories or any stories about like survival jobs or anything like that?
Fun horror story. That is literally my brand. I am a fun horror story.
That's the episode title.
So many. Oh my God. So many. How much time do we have? Well, one of the first things that happened to me, I was on the subway and I didn't grow up with much money. So we didn't have much money. And I had just bought a new JanSport backpack for college. And I was like, this is going to be great. Like I got a new JanSport. I think they're like, it was like $19, but I was like, it was everything.
No, I had
it was
a
a Prada
JanSport.
bag.
Like,
and they
were the shit.
They're sturdy. Well, and so I got on the train and I'm like sitting, I wish I had a diagram.
You're like,
also, this is a podcast, so people are going to be listening to. Okay.
Yeah, but they can watch.
They can watch and listen. If you're listening to this, watch it too, or just think about it. So on the if you're walking into the train, you see the 3-seater here and like the pole thing. I'm at the end, so I'm like by the pole, so people can stand to my right.
Yes.
I'm like this, right? People can stand right there.
We're with you.
A family of tourists come in. The child is not doing well.
Oh,
not looking sick. Looking sickly.
Oh, like as the train's moving?
As the train's moving, yeah. And I'm sitting there holding the JanSport.
Oh, no.
And what do you know happens? Turns over and just vomits all over me. All over me on the JanSport everywhere.
Not the new
I proceed to have like a full breakdown. Like I'm sobbing. They don't speak English and they just have no idea what to do. And I can tell they feel bad, but they just don't know what to do. And I'm having a crazy reaction to this. Like but everything to me was that JanSport bag. So I am heavily sobbing. I'm like, what am I going to do with my life right now?
I don't have a backpack anymore.
And they got off on the next stop and ran. And I literally chased them running, just crying. I don't even know what I said. Like, I don't even know what I said.
I was like, what was the objective? Like, you were just like, get the puke off
I wanted a new JanSport. Like, what are they going to do? I felt, Anyway,
you got a 20 on
that
you?
That was rough. Yeah, you got a 20. I'll take the $1 tip. So that wasn't great. And then I was fortunate and unfortunate to be a part of many a retail experience in New York City.
It's like a rite of passage.
It is. I think everybody should work a retail job. I actually do.
Important.
And I think it should be a part of schooling to show like how to treat people in that space.
Totally.
I have so many stories, but I worked at Lululemon for like,
so did Isa.
6 years? How long did you work there?
Not for 6 years.
2 months.
Okay, so I have how many more years on you? I have 5 years and 10 months on you.
Okay.
Yeah, but I worked at like every location. I started at the Brooklyn store, then I went to the Soho store, then I went to Soho Women's, and I worked at Soho Men's for a spell, and then I went to Soho Broadway, and then I went back to Brooklyn. I was everywhere.
Wow.
I was popping to Lulu to Lulu. I had a great time. There were obviously experiences there that were quite interesting. Many that are like being a gay man assisting at predominantly female presenting people coming in shopping that felt very comfortable just to show their whole naked bodies to gay men in the fitting rooms, which was very interesting.
Not the whole body.
And you were just like, I was like, okay, I'll go grab that tank for you.
Okay.
Like, okay. So there were some stories there, but I had a great experience working at Lulu. And I think like the team, I just met some really special people there. Some who are in my life today, but I no longer work there.
Oh.
And then I worked at Scotch and Soda for a while, and that one had many, many stories. The one that I will tell you, it's very quick. I was helping someone, and she asked for a fitting room. I don't know if you've heard the story before, but it was horrifying. Not actually, but she asked me for 5 t-shirts. She was like, I don't care what size, what color, just give me 5 t-shirts. I was like, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So I took the 5 t-shirts to the fitting room and then watched her take them off the hanger and just throw them on the floor so that she could stand on them while she was trying on clothes. But it was just one of those moments where you're like, people are living that way. Also, those t-shirts were like $98. Like, it's an expensive store. So then she left and they were all like ruined because the floors are like, they were old. So like when you're putting like any weight onto them, they're going to get
dirty.
damaged like immediately when they hit the floor. And also there's, dust bunnies everywhere. Anyway, I was like, this is someone's life that I am now a part of. But that's not really a horror story, I guess. It's more just like people are.
It's just like the people here though.
People here, people fall asleep in the fitting rooms, but that's normal. I've been there. We've all been there. I fell asleep at TJ Maxx. We've all done that. But I guess I don't really have many like horror stories besides like my life, but not like in New York.
But like we don't have a lot of time. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, I can't tell you my whole life story.
Now I want to know, do y'all have crazy horror stories here?
I had one today.
No.
It wasn't, do you think it counts as a New York horror story?
Yeah.
It was pretty rough. At Starbucks.
No, it already counts.
Yeah, I'm like, you were at work.
No, and so I'm...
And a person you don't know said something to
I'm
you,
at the like handoff area of like the drinks. Ethan has been in the store.
I have.
Specifically Riley's Starbucks.
Yeah.
No, he came in. And I'm passing out drinks. It's like during peak. So there's like a million customers in there. It's super busy. And our store, a whole different story that I could tell. I'll tell you guys later. Podcast, you'll hear it eventually. But like people steal stuff all the time. And I witnessed it like firsthand how they try to do it. And it's crazy. But anyway.
I need to know.
Basically, so this guy, he comes in and he's like standing kind of like behind me so he can, because all the drinks are facing me and all the labels are facing me. So I can see the
name.
drinks
You see
and
the name.
I see the name. So I can be like, oh, what's the name? And then I'm like, okay, what was it? Just to make sure. Yeah. So this guy, he's kind of standing like over my shoulder, like looking at the drinks. And then a little while later, he comes and I'm like kind of watching him. And I like, my coworker Michael was like, he's a serial stealer. Like, watch out. So he comes over and he's like, hi, like I'm picking up for my friend Jason. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what did Jason get? And he's like, he got a blueberry muffin. Because there was like a drink and food. And I was like, oh, actually, no, the Jason order I have, it doesn't have that. And he was like, I'll check with him. And he like left. Anyway, that's like, but it's like stuff like that all the time. Or they'll just steal it. And I'm like, oh.
And the anxiety, it's a lot. When that's happening, I'm like, it's like, you're like, we just don't know how to process it. Like, in the moment.
I'm like, but no, what happened today?
Oh no.
So I'm packing a delivery and this homeless man that comes in all the time, he frequents the store. He's very kind, usually just like asks for some water. No problem.
Usually.
No problem. Today I'm packing this delivery and he's like right there. And so I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? Like he's never given us an issue. And he like looks at me dead in the face and goes, I see you every day and you're gaining a lot of weight. When I say I was, and he's like, yeah, like you're gaining a lot of weight, like it's a good thing. And I was like, I was literally gagged. I like could not speak. I was like,
you're like the audacity.
I give you water.
I give you water for free.
I'm so freaking sorry.
No, that's literally happened today. And so I like immediately was just like, I like froze and I did not know like what to even say. Like you're like, and now I think back and I'm like, why didn't I stand up for myself and be like, don't talk to me that way? But like, I was just so like, what the fuck? And so I turned to the girl that was like on bar, like being the barista. And I was like, I'm stepping off. I'm sorry. And she was like, are you okay? Like what? But then meanwhile, customers like heard this. Oh. And so they were like all looking at me. And then I just like my eyes like filled with tears. And I was like,
oh my God.
And then I went to the back and I was like sobbing, like shaking and sobbing. Cause I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I know, but like, thanks. You don't have to point it out. Like,
I was like, who are you? You don't know me. You see me in a green apron every damn day.
Yeah, like I look my worst at work, and so
actually, I don't think that. I think you're looking great at work. I was there
You
recently.
think about that vest.
I was just going to bring up the vest, and I need you to link it to me immediately. So that happened. Sorry, today as in today.
Today,
not
as
like
in today.
yesterday.
So I go to the back, and my manager's like, "Oh my god, like, are you okay? What you?" And I'm like through sobs. I'm like, "Someone just told me I'm gaining weight," and I like, and she's like, "Who?" She's like, "Who was it? Who was it? I'm gonna kill someone." And so she runs out there, and she literally is like, "You do not speak to my employees that way. You don't speak to anyone that way. Do not comment on anyone's appearance. Do not ever come back to this store, or I will call the cops on you." And she literally like sent in the chat like, "Do not let this man in the store, or call the cops."
Wow.
Yeah. So like period, like I love my team at Starbucks.
Good.
But that literally happened today. I have so many other stories, but that one's fresh on the mind.
You're like, it's just fresh. It's top of the noggin.
Oh
Yeah.
God. I'm so sorry that happened. And that is a horror story.
Thank you.
And I hate it.
Horror, for sure.
Thanks. Anything from you?
I mean, I just got Starbucks on the mind right now, so I'll give a quick one.
Let me hear it.
I was walking on the Lower East Side. This was like my first year here. It was my boyfriend and I, and we were going on like a date. We were going to this restaurant on the Lower East Side. We're walking, and it was like one of those crosswalk situations where, people are crossing. The crosswalk is on.
It's a crosswalk.
It's one of those situations,
You walk.
So we're crossing the street and we're walking, and there's a girly just like holding a venti Starbucks drink, and out of nowhere, like no context, no preface, no moment before, nothing.
No prep.
Some homeless man just comes up to this girl and fucking punches the Starbucks cup out of her hand. Like no reason. Just like got pissed. Saw her holding that venti cup and was like, there's just something about that fucking girl that I'm pissed she has Starbucks. Punches it out of her hand.
Oh.
And my boyfriend and I were like, and everybody's kind of like, she's like, what the fuck? But the guy's just like kind of mad, and he's
I'm watching the leaf also like moving behind you.
And she just kind of like walks away all pissed, and she's like, and then just keeps walking, and then like crosswalk. We were done. We were just on the other street, and we were like, all right, wow.
And just kept on going with the day.
Yeah, like he just had to hit something.
So not for me, personally horrifying, but I was witness to that. It was not nice.
Oh, I'd be traumatized.
It doesn't feel good.
It didn't feel
Every
good.
time you carry Starbucks, you're like, death
got a grip
on it.
I will never see you at Starbucks again. FYI. I will not be attending.
Never
anymore.
going back.
Yeah.
Never,
No.
never. But okay, finishing up our little New York section
sure.
here. Oh, sure. What is your ultimate dream for New York City?
The city itself or me in the city?
Take that as you will. You decide.
I want wonderful things to happen to New York City. I only want peace and love. And my dream within New York City is for all of my people, everyone in this room included, for our dreams to come true, because I see all of us working so hard, and it's so inspiring watching everybody in our collective and like in our community, just how hard everybody's working and how talented they are. And just, we've seen some people's dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to keep seeing that happen and be a support for people. And I think that's partly a good thing for New York City and for us to New York City, because we're going to be running the city. That's my dream for it.
Period.
Oh,
Yeah.
I loved that.
I love that.
Very
That's so
inspirational.
special. Isa, wrap us up.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I really had that deep.
No,
in there.
you're good. You're good.
No,
Anyway.
that sounded great. I kind of want to do it now.
Really
Kinda
guttural.
Let it out.
I don't have anything, but that was very
Everyone
guttural.
take a break.
Yeah.
Okay, Isa, wrap us up. What's our last question
Now
for
I
this
need water.
section?
What? Yeah, you know what? We'll let you take that sip.
Just because I acted like I coughed.
You're like for the vid,
All right, I'm back.
Fix the consistency.
I'm back.
Ethan,
Yes.
what would you say makes you not from here? It can also be like a New York horror kind of thing where it's like moments where you find yourself being like, yeah, no, like I did not grow up here. Like these people are built a little different. Like the woman putting the shirts
the shirts on the
floor.
ground. I don't think she was from New York City either. But
Who knows where she was from?
one of my New Year's resolutions, which I don't really believe in them, but I'm going to do it this year, is to spin things more positively.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say what makes me not from here is that I still find, after 10 years of living here, even the gross stuff, I'm like, it's still magical. Like even the rats, I'm like, I'll take the fucking rats because this place is everything to me. So I think that makes me not from here, because I guess also New Yorkers, love New York too and don't want to leave. So I guess that doesn't make me not from here. But I'm going to go with that answer.
Yeah.
No, but I get it.
That
Like
makes complete sense.
the optimist in you, you know?
Yeah, or like my mom's like, it smells like pee every time I get off the train. And I'm like, yeah.
That's part of the charm.
Someone just peed, Mom. Like, and
You're
I
like,
love it.
We all gotta go.
And I'm like, let's go drink the pee, Mom. And then we drink it together on our hands and knees. And it's just magical. We don't do that. Don't picture that.
You're like, so sorry,
Dear
Mom.
God,
Please.
so sorry. But that makes me not from here. I still love New York and it's magical after a decade living here and many a rat and a cockroach.
Ooh,
Aw.
many.
Many.
Sugar, butter, flour.
Ooh, that was gorgeous.
I've literally been practicing since like 15.
Well, that was perfect.
I was like,
Booked and
it's
blessed.
her dream role.
Okay, so tell us, Ethan, we're dying to know
Uh-huh.
about your time with Waitress on tour.
Oh, it was the best experience of my entire life. I want to do it over and over and over and over again. And now it's out for licensing, so hopefully we all will do it over and over, and over again.
soon.
Waitress was one of those shows that I auditioned for like 5 years when it was on Broadway and just kept on getting pretty far and just like not getting it and not getting it and not getting it, which in the moments were devastating, but I do think it led up to me finally getting it, based off of like I had done, well, this is a backwards way of going into it. But anyway, I had auditioned for it so many times and like done the dance call so many times. So they had like video of me doing the dance call. So when I got in for the tour, I didn't have to do the dance call again because they were already like check, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where I'm kind of like after the pandemic, not sure I could have done the dance call.
Yeah.
Even though it's literally just like moving a pie. I was like, I'd have some problems there. We figured it out. So I auditioned for it so many times. And this is the part of the story that I love to tell, even though it was very sad in the moment, but now I am reclaiming it. So I was with an agency for 6.5 years and had lots of auditions for them. We had a great relationship. And then in January 22? Is that when I did Waitress or was that 23? What year are we in? We're in 23, so 22.
Okay.
I got an email just out of the blue at like 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. And it was just like a blanket email from my agent, like BCC'd, like, we're dropping you. And I was like, all right, okay. It was a dark night. We turned the lights off. We had some cries.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to let this get me down and like all these things. And then the next week I saw that Waitress announced that they were doing a limited engagement tour. And I felt like I had missed my chance doing the show so many times. And I was like, this feels like it's going to be my chance. So because I had auditioned for it so many times and got to know the casting director, and he's like the sweetest person in the world, I texted him and I was like, not sure you need an Ogie or an Ogie cover, but I saw that the tour is happening. And he was like, we actually are looking for Ogie and an Ogie cover. And I was like, do tell.
I'm literally gagged right now.
So he was like, do a video, like sent me the current stuff that they needed. Do a video of Ogie and I'll put it in with like the submissions or whatever. So I worked very hard on my Ogie tape. I felt good about it. And then I sent it off. He said nice things. And then I got a call the next week. And he was like, just so you know, we offered someone Ogie. But Sarah wanted to know if you'd be interested in being the cover. And I like started to cry. And I was like, yeah, I would love that. You know, like a full out mess. And he was like, okay. He was like, so all that they would need from you is to sing like 32 bars from opening up just so they can hear. Because my Ogie tape, I'm like, I will never let you let. Like I'm doing all that shit. So they were like, they just need to hear you sing like normally for a sec. So I was just like, opening up. And I filmed that in my bathroom immediately after he called me. I learned it in like 10 minutes, sang it in the bathroom, sent it off because I was like, I'm going to waste no time.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, he texted me and he was like, you got it. And I was just like,
I just got chills.
And I was at work at Scotch and Soda downstairs on my 10-minute break that day. And I got the text and I was just like, oh my God, it's happening. And it was magical. So I was in the ensemble, understudied Ogie, but was also the onstage swing. So I swung all the ensemble.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I swung 6 tracks and then Ogie, and then was in my own ensemble track, which was wild because it wasn't that long because it was limited engagement. So it was like 4, 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we only had, so we were supposed to have like 3 weeks of rehearsal, but the last week everyone got COVID. So we only had 2 weeks of rehearsal. And I was learning it from scratch. So I was learning like set 8 roles. And
Oh God.
And it's like it's a pretty straightforward show, but there are so many little things that make the magic so magical. Like even just like having Jenna be able to have the flour ready for the, like somebody has to put it in the hand, like all that stuff. There's so many little parts. So like swinging the ensemble, you're like, I have to make sure I have the spoon if I'm that person on the third count, but I have to give it with the right hand because I have to turn over the left and I have to grab that rack. Like it's like little things because it's a pretty like not crazy heavily danced show. But those little things make it feel so heavily danced and like its own sort of gravitational pull is what I feel like the show always had. That's like mesmerizing to watch and draws you in from the very beginning. That it was like I wanted to make sure I got all of it right, but obviously you can't do that in 2 weeks when you're learning your track first. Like,
oh my God.
And then they were like, I needed to learn Ogie first because just in case, obviously.
Yeah.
Because there were other swings who were covering the ensemble. But so I had 2 weeks of rehearsal, and then my COVID lasted for the longest time. That when I got out, when I finally tested negative, I went to the venue where we started, and I had put in rehearsal. Like we had like an hour and a half rehearsal, and then we had the show that night.
Wow.
And I was so scared. But luckily, like they're a brilliant team. And so like they set us up for success. So I had everything I needed like during COVID to practice. But of course, practicing in my tiny ass bedroom is not going to be like doing it on stage.
Yeah.
But I just remember being in the back before it started and you hear like the sugar, butter, like in the back, and you're just like about to go on. And I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And it just felt so magical. And that moment always felt like beyond my wildest dreams, just hearing that. It was pretty unreal. Like I just really have great things to say about it.
Wow.
And just Sarah was in the room with us doing a couple times and like walking her dog and would bring the dog in. And I was just like, what is happening? It was just incredible.
I'm still stuck on the fact that you were like, yeah, Sarah wants you to be the Ogie cover. I'm literally like,
Say less.
Sarah wants.
I was like, even if that didn't happen and you're just saying that, I need that to be the story.
Yeah,
I was like, I
Sarah
love that you're
wanted
saying
me.
this.
Sarah wanted me.
Because when I had done one of my final callbacks in the city, it was for the full creative team and just Sarah was right in front of me. And just wearing this gorgeous like denim moment that I need, along with the vest. Haven't forgot, really.
He needs the vest.
I have to have a vest. It's just wild. And she's just one of the best people ever. Waitress is everything. It's a magical show, right? It's wild.
It's magical.
Oh,
it's the perfect show.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like I've seen it a few times, and every time I feel like it hits me differently.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a magical show. And I feel like there's not much like it out there.
No.
And I think it resonates with pretty much anyone that sees it for different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great show for like, if like no one's ever seen a musical, I think I'd be like, go watch Waitress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is a great place to start.
Oh yeah.
I just love it. I also love like the style of music. It came out at a point in my life where I was like very much trying to do musical theater, and like a lot of my like youth LOL. A lot of like my high school like mentors and voice coaches were like, like you have too hard of like too much of a pop voice to do musical theater. And when that came out, I remember right?
I know,
like,
I know that you don't think that.
I'm like, totally, what? That makes so much sense. But when like just having Sarah come out with like that album, it was such a connection of genres for me that I was like, there is a place for me in musical theater.
Yes.
And I just I love it. I hold it on such a little, it's just,
as do I.
I'm obsessed with you. You're so inspiring.
You are Mr. Waitress.
Yeah, Mr. Waitress.
I'll take it.
But okay, guys, if you didn't know, Ethan is also a writer.
Oh,
you're like, this is where we're going.
Yes. Okay, I remember this.
Okay, so Ethan, talk to us about your writing, your process, how that's been. Maybe Joe's Pub, if you want to share. The 29-hour reading of Goliath. Please tell us it all.
Oh, I love to write. It is a huge passion of mine. How did I even start? So I really started writing at Interlochen. It was my first access to like practice rooms. Like there was like a whole room of just pianos, and I kind of taught myself how to play piano. I'm just not great, but I can get through some stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of with chords. But I was just like, I think I was dealing with a lot of just stuff from home, growing up in Topeka, Kansas, Southern Baptist, all that stuff. So I was just kind of processing it almost like the practice rooms were my therapy, and like the piano became my therapy. So I just kind of started to write what I was feeling through piano, even though a lot of it was garbage. Some of it had some moments. But I continued to do that. It was a therapy. It was like a therapy dog. When I would go to it, I just felt like held and supported. So then when I got to Pace and I was like, oh, there's practice rooms here too, I would just start to write all day constantly, just like anything, standalones or whatever. But my first project, because every musical theater writer can have one first song cycle. I feel like everyone's awarded the first song cycle. So I was like, I'm going to have my first song cycle. I wrote that during at Pace, during our last president, during that whole, when he was being elected. I was kind of dealing with my own sense of self, sexuality, religion, family, Bible, music, piano, just kind of everything. And especially all of the female identifying people in my life and what they were going through, and seeing it like crystal clear in front of me, stuff that I had been taught differently. I was just like, I feel something in my chest and I want to do something about it. And I felt like I had a piano. I was like, I think this is my way to kind of try to understand all of this and try to be of any support I can be through this. So then I went to a cabin in Colorado. Okay. And there was a piano in there, and I just like sat down and I was like, what's going to happen? And I wrote a song called Jericho, which is in the show I wrote called Her Sound. And I wrote it in about 10 minutes, and it just like flowed out of me. And I was just like in this cabin and I was just feeling it. And I was like, this is going to be something. So then the next day I sat down and then I wrote Samson, which is another song from the show. Again, and like I wrote that one, it took me a little bit longer, like an hour. But I was just like, I was just feeling the material. And then the next day, third day, I wrote a song called Sodom and Gomorrah, which is also from that. Those are the first 3 songs I wrote for it, and I wrote them just very fast. I made changes, don't worry. Changed some lyrics that made no sense. But that's kind of how that project started. And then, like I said, Kirsten, who I went to Pace with, we would just be in the practice rooms, and I would just basically just like write a song, like, can you sing this? Can you sing this right now? And she was just like sitting there and she's like, let's go. So then I just kind of wrote like 13 songs with her in the practice room, and we just vibed and sang and connected and chatted and about what we were feeling, what we were processing. And it was really incredible. And then I had some songs written then. So then we did a concert at Don't Tell Mama, directed by Sammy Canold, who just made her Broadway directing debut in How to Dance in Ohio.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Love her forever. So she directed it at Don't Tell Mama. And then from there, I took a little break from it and then started to make some adjustments and rewriting new songs, adding new songs. And then the pandemic happened. It took us all the way there.
Yep, love her.
And then kept on making a lot of changes to the score during the pandemic as new stuff was arising, and new collaborations and new people in my life and new points of understanding and new ways of looking into these stories, because they're all stories from the Bible. And yeah, so then I started to rewrite a lot of it. And then Thousand Face Theater Company, who we love, approached me to do a concept album. So we did the concept album in 3 parts, recorded over the pandemic, which was awesome. And we got to work with just incredible artists who we probably wouldn't have had the chance to work with if it wasn't the pandemic. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
And we did it all remote with a remote band. The vocals sang live, like masked, and then would just sing and put the masks back on. For all 3 of those all got released. Listen to them if you want.
God,
I am proud of them.
Please listen to them.
Thank you. And yeah, and then so once that was over, then the pandemic, things were starting to open back up, and we were like, we should do a Joe's Pub concert. We wanted to do a concert, and Joe's Pub I just love, and that has always been my dream to do a show at Joe's Pub.
Yes.
So the fact that it got to be like my first song cycle that I cared so much about and poured so much into, and almost felt like I found my true identity through writing it, to have it done there was just fully a dream come true. And that was like right after Waitress. It was like 2 months after Waitress. So that was just a good year for me. I was very happy. And I was so inspired by the people we got to perform, and so many of my close friends and new friends. And got to see like Kirsten performing it, who we had talked about, Joe's Pub, like at Pace, watching her sing the song Jericho that I wrote for her. It was just like all so many full circle moments. So it was really beautiful. I loved that. And then, yeah, we're trying to do it some other places. So hopefully that will happen soon.
Wow.
And then the other show I wrote, Goliath, well, other show that is still being written is what I should say.
In progress.
Yeah, in progress with my collaborator, Cassidy Layton,
Shout out.
who we love. Watch Severance. We wrote Goliath together, which is a story about a young man who's forced to go to a gay conversion therapy camp at the risk of losing his parents' tuition. And things don't go so well there.
Yeah.
And he kind of teams up with the rest of the campers to shut down the camp. He falls in love with a closeted camp doctor.
Ooh.
And then a hurricane hits the town, and then they're forced into an underground bunker, and a lot of shit happens down there. And that's all I will say.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot goes on in this one. But I'm happy because her sound was very like folky, earthy, moments of trying to bring in ethereal to bring in some of that Bible reference, even though I'm an atheist. And Goliath is like folk, electric, pop, synth vibe. So it's definitely more electronic. And I'm going to be releasing 2 songs soon on Spotify.
Oh, I
so those are
can't
coming.
wait.
Thanks to Songbird, which is an incredible organization that provides funding specifically for demos for new writers. And so we got a grant from them to make 2 demos. And so we did that. 2 songs are coming from that. And we just did a 29-hour reading with 18 new works and very intense productions. And the 29-hour reading was awesome. It was a lot of work, but it was great. Yeah, and that just happened 2 weeks. When did that happen? That was like 2 weeks.
It was so recent. So recent.
Wow.
You're like, how is it already over?
It happened. Yeah. And so we got some great feedback from that, and we're excited to keep on working on it. And the dream for that is to kind of get it into festivals and more like longer workshops where it's not just 29 hours, because you can see a problem in a 29-hour reading and be like, well, we don't have time to fix that because the presentation's tomorrow.
Yep.
So that plot point, let's hope they get it. That song, okay.
It's there.
It's there for now.
Next time.
Yeah, she'll be gone tonight. But yeah, that was awesome and so much work, and I'm excited for more of it. I love writing. It's definitely a different part of my brain, but still has that like art theater part of it. Scratch is just a different side of it, and I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're amazing, Ethan. I mean, I want to say like it's inspirational to listen to you talk about this, because obviously like you're creating your own work, which is just like such a difficult thing to do. But the reason it's even more inspiring is because of how fucking good it is.
And Lisa, we're at Joe's Pub. Oh,
yes,
we were there.
I didn't even know you at that point.
Yeah, we didn't know you.
Oh my God, oh my God.
But we were just fans. Like we had like how I
God.
originally heard of you. I think I saw like one of your TikToks of like her sound,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this shit's good. And it was Samson.
No.
And then I was like, and I like texted Isa and like a few of our friends, and I was like, we have to go to this.
Oh
I
my
need to see it.
God.
So we're OG fans.
Yeah, we've been
Thank
stringing
you
along
for coming.
Oh my God, of course. Yeah, we didn't even know
no.
you, but we were like fangirling. We're
I mean, and that's the thing too, like hearing that quality of work and like that level of an artist, and then to be able to like sit down with you and be like, yeah, we're like, we chat now, we're friends, like we've done things together.
We have.
We run into each other at Starbucks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like you really are, like I hope that you know and you carry that with you, that like you're just a very inspirational person, and like you deserve all of the things that you've done, because I mean, damn it, you work hard. And
Thank you. I'm gonna
just
cry.
needs to be
That's
said.
so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot to hear that. Seriously.
I mean, I'm sure everybody listening to this will also be just as inspired.
Oh yeah.
Truly. I mean, hopefully.
Get ready.
Yeah.
So kind. I mean, we'll see.
You're gonna like take over the world. I'm like
Oh my
ready
God.
for everyone. I like when I was talking about this week's episode, they're like, who are you having on? I'm like, oh, Ethan Carlson. They're like, okay, like who's that? And I'm
Correct.
like, oh, you're not right.
Oh, just you.
I'm like,
wait.
just you wait.
Okay. That's very nice. Thank you.
Of course. Okay.
Thank you to anybody who listened.
Okay, so quickly.
Yes.
Tell us just a little bit about Green Otter Photography.
Oh my God. Yes.
This is another one of your creations.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
I love photography. I love it. And I've I always just saw it as like a passion, not really something that I could do on my own for a company. But I think the retail of it all was just really getting to me. And I had this passion and was working on it a lot with Matt Murphy, who's an incredible photographer, and just getting coached by him with a lot. I was just like, this, I'm very thankful. And he's literally a genius. And I owe literally everything I know about photography to him. Quite literally. And
you're like, I can't say it enough.
Yeah, I cannot say enough. So I started a company, and because I also like predominantly work with lifestyle shots for actors and videography for concerts and concert photography. So it's like a world that I know very in and out. And I'm a huge people person, and I feel like I can connect to people pretty quickly. And I feel like I do a lot of stalking before I take the photos to kind of see vibes, just to make sure people have content that feels authentic to them, and not crazy, like making people look like they don't look like in real life, because why? With photography. So that's why I wanted to make this company, and it's been going great. And I can't wait for more of that as well. So go to greenotterdesign.com if you want to get some lifestyle shots with me.
You better.
Yeah. Riley and I did them.
We did. And I had the best time.
It was so fun.
They're stunning, jaw-dropping.
Well,
I'm not talking about me.
No, yes. I'm talking about you.
Okay, but also it was you
Can I talk about you? The denim moment. No one was ready. I was not ready. You came out of the dressing room, and I was like, are you a joke? It was so iconic. It is so iconic. It's captured forever.
It has never been worn outside of that shoot.
It needs to be worn.
It will be. It will be.
I
will contact you.
I will contact you.
I will send you pictures of me in it and be like, this is for you.
Thank you. I need them.
I love it.
Oh, I'm sad. Our time's ending. I could talk to you forever.
Vice versa.
Thank you for coming on, sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us. It has been a pleasure to have you and hear your stories, all from your horror all the way to
fun horror,
as we say.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you both so much, and you are both very inspirational as well. And I want you both to know that.
Thanks.
I've also taken videos of you both singing.
Yeah, you have.
So freaking good. Not the videos, you two. As everybody already knows who's watching this, listening to this, you both are iconic.
Ethan, where can the people find you?
Instagram is my number one. I'm a disaster at social media, but at the real Ethan Carlson, and that's just because all other Ethan Carlson handles were taken. I don't really know what the real even means. The other ones are real too, but that's my handle.
And
the real
Green
Ethan
Otter
Carlson
Design.
And at Green Otter Design.
Next week, we're doing a quick little 2023 year in review. We're gonna tell you how it went.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
our first year of this podcast.
True.
A lot has happened.
Let's
debrief. If you want to keep up with us on social media, our @ is at notfromhere.podcast. That is NOTFROMHERE.PODCAST. And as always, I'm Riley Klauza.
I'm Isa Rodriguez.
I'm Ethan Carlson.
And we are definitely
not from here. Bye.
Bye.
Yay!